We are at the iconic landmark hotel for a gorgeous London wedding. It's also our first wedding of the season, so just such an exciting start to the year. And I thought we'd give you a little behind the scenes of our setup here and also show you how we are transforming this hotel's gorgeous spaces with flowers. This is the Empire Room, so it's one of the most dramatic spaces in the hotel and it's perfect for the wedding ceremony. As you can see, this is a wedding for quite a few guests, so we've got 160 guests, so we wanted to create something really impactful for this ceremony. So a room this grand really called for a huge installation. So this square arch is a 2.4 metre square arch, so really impactful. It's really going to frame the couple. As you can see, you'll still be able to see the whole arch when the couple are in front of it, so that was really important to us. There are a lot of guests, so you've got 160 guests, so we wanted even the guests at the back to be able to have a beautiful view of this arch, the flowers and the couple surrounded by them. The palette for this wedding is very tonal, so we're going for a really lovely modern and contemporary look. So all of the flowers are centered around this white palette. So in order to achieve that on the arch, where we normally use greenery, we've done a base of gypsophilia, which is great for giving that cloudy and airy feel, but doesn't take away from the dramatic impact of an all white arch in this quite grand space. As well as our gypsophilia base, we've layered on top of that with our focal flowers for this wedding, and that was predominantly white roses and white hydrangeas, so they're going to just add a lot of structure. We've reflexed some of them, and this just adds a lot more shape to the flowers. Spread throughout just creates a really impactful look. It adds structure and dimension to the arch, and even though we've kept to such a simple palette, using different sizes of flowers really gives us that texture that we would otherwise be missing. We've used flowers in the base that have quite a tall profile to almost give the impression that we're growing up from the ground. So that helps just differentiate it from the rest of the arch. It's quite subtle, but we've used things like these beautiful calla lilies, which are 1 metre in length, so really tall, and then the beautiful delphinium. So I like to mainly focus on the base when I'm using delphiniums. I think it just gives a bit more of a natural look. Something people always ask me at weddings is, how many stems did you use to create this installation? And it's always a really fun one to share. So in this arch, we used 1,000 stems of gypsophilia, which sounds crazy, but you really do need the volume to create such an airy and cloud-like installation. So it's really important that we use enough. We're also really conscious of the sides, so some of the guests will almost have a side view of this arch, so we really don't want any of the mechanics to be showing. I love a table plan, especially one that is a little bit different. So normally you'll see us create meadows and vases that sit next to table plans, which is beautiful, but it is lovely to do something a little bit different.
Guests always tend to congregate around the table plan because everyone always wants to know where they're sitting and who they're sitting next to. We like to pay special attention to the flowers here, and I love how simple but effective the final look is. The arch shape with the evenly spaced shelves combined with the elegant bud vases gives a minimal and timeless look while still managing to be impactful and beautiful.
So this is the marble ballroom, and this is our second big floral focus for this wedding.
This is another grand and expansive space, but when we have a wedding with lots of guests, we always want to be mindful of how the room will feel once it's full of people. Bearing this in mind, we knew we needed a balance between creating lots of drama and height whilst preventing the room feeling too overly cluttered and fussy with 17 large round guest tables. To do this, we opted for 2 different styles of centerpieces. One is a statement style, a large arrangement in a tall, elegant glass vase which added height to the room and draws the eye upwards. These also have the added benefit of providing drama and impact whilst keeping the tabletop relatively free for other tableware. On the remaining tables, we are contrasting the tall centerpieces by opting for low-level bud vases, which look really elegant and minimal and create separation from the taller and larger pieces. The bud vases are an element that we are repeating throughout the wedding, adding a cohesive and contemporary look between the guest tables, the top table, and the mantelpieces. The candles are almost as big a part of the design as the florals in this space. We really wanted to use them to create intimacy in this large room. Each table incorporates a mix of tall tapered candles and smaller gold tea lights, which allows us to both create drama and a subtle flickering glow. My favourite part is when the setup is complete and the candles are being lit and you can see everything coming together. I hope you enjoyed our behind the scenes setup, and you can subscribe to the Sunday Floral Studio to see more.